guys, so this is a quick unboxing for the DB Power IP web camera that I just brought off eBay. This is actually the second one that I've ordered. The first one that I ordered actually arrived faulty. It wasn't able to detect any of the wireless networks. I was able to connect it via the Ethernet cable, and then when I tried to set up the wireless side, it wasn't able to detect any of the wireless networks in my area. This is basically a faux scam replica, I'm led to believe. I find that when I set up the other one, it worked with all the faux scam settings. I've set it up on both Mac and PC. Obviously it's a bit easier to set up on PC because the included software is PC based. So this is how they come. Bit of foam. Oh, it's a slightly different disc. Last time I got a mini disc, one of those really small ones, only about so big. This is a full-size disc this time. I've got a little Ethernet patch cable. I've got, that's the wall, oh, there we go. That's the little mounting bracket. Obviously you screw that into the wall, and this bit here screws into the actual web camera itself. Looks like a slightly different setup compared to the last one I got. The little power adapter. It does mention on this little sticker just here to make sure you use the 5-volt power adapter included. And as you can see also on here, it mentions the same thing again, use the 5-volt power supply included. Also in here we have a little bag of a couple of whatever these little plastic things are called, and some screws for obviously for mounting. This little green thing here, which I believe is for hooking it to an alarm system. Somebody with more experience or more knowledge might know what that's called, but you get one of these things with it. Not that I've used them yet. And obviously your little Wi-Fi antenna. It's here, certificate of conformity, which probably doesn't actually mean a whole lot, but they include one anyway. Quality, December 19th, 2011 was when it was manufactured. Nothing else in there. Let's pull out the actual camera itself. There we go. And nothing else left in the box. This is the camera itself. Obviously you've got, I think it's 9 or 10 LEDs, I haven't actually counted them. Little DB Power logo on the front. It's a pan tilt zoom camera, so it will do the full, I don't know, it does, when I've messed around with the software, it doesn't do a full 360, but I tell you what, it does maybe 340 degrees, it does tilt quite a way. Connections on the back, you've got your audio connection for external speakers or microphone, I believe, don't quote me on that because I don't know. Ethernet port, obviously this is the little jack to plug in the Wi-Fi antenna. We'll pop that on straight away, why not? Pop that on there, twist it around so it pops up. Then you've got this little, I don't know, hot port thing or whatever this thing is for the alarm system, and then also your power jack for the power adapter. And that is basically it. On the bottom, you've got all your standard settings, just all the username and password are always set to default, and also it gives you some device IP, device name and all that type of stuff. And if memory serves me correctly, it looks like the device name is exactly the same on all of them. So yes, that's it. Alright, let's see if we can get it working on the software now. Alright guys, so this is the software that comes with the DB camera. DB Power, whatever you want to call it. It's actually the software that came with my first version. I don't know whether or not the CD I got with this new camera is any different, but this one works, so I decided just to use this one because I couldn't be bothered getting the other one out. Up here you've got network adapters. Because I've got my iPhone plugged in, it's showing up as a shared port there. Basically you just want to select your default or your internal Ethernet card. This is obviously the IP address of your computer. This will be the subnet mask, gateway, which is basically the IP address of your router, and your DNS settings in here. Down the bottom here, it will bring up a list of all the cameras that are compatible with this software. All I've done in regards to the camera is just plugged it into power and then plugged an Ethernet cable from the camera into my switch, which is then plugged into my router, and my router's giving out IP addresses. This bottom camera down here is actually the original PhoScam camera I got. This one here is a DB camera the first DB camera I got, and this one here is the new DB power camera that I've just purchased. Over on the right hand side here, it shows you all the stuff to do with the IP addresses and stuff like that. You can set it over here to set the IP address automatically, but we want a static IP address because of the way my security camera software works. So I want to plug it into. I've actually done this a couple of times because I was having some trouble with the screen capture software. So as you can see, I've already actually put in my IP address here for it. Basically, you can just grab your IP address from over here and change the last digit to whatever IP address you want. If you're setting static IP addresses, you probably already know what you're doing in regards to that. If you don't know what you're doing, do a set automatically, and it will just ask the router for an IP address, and it will fill all this stuff in automatically for you. Subnet mask, we'll just grab that from over there. The gateway is the same again from over here. DNS, we'll just grab that from there. Once you change your settings on this right hand side, making sure it's to the appropriate camera, you will just whack your username and password in here. So to begin with, it was just admin and then 123456, and then we hit this update button just here. When you do that, you'll get a little message saying that your settings have been saved. You just click OK, and then just here somewhere you'll get a little timeline going across to say that your device is rebooting. Once it's done that, you'll find you'll be able to hit the search button again here, click on your camera, and you'll have all your new settings in here. Now if you hit the browse button, this will open up whatever your default web browser is and get you into the software for that. Alright guys, so now we're in a web browser. I'm only going to capture the bit of the web browser that's actually important to us, which is the rest of the web browser is basically blank space. When you clicked that browse button back in the original software, you would have been presented with your default web browser trying to access the IP address of the camera, and it would have asked for the username and password. Just pop in the username admin and the password 123456 and click OK, and hopefully you are presented with something that looks very similar to this. Hello, there we go, there's my hand. Nice high frame rate because we're plugged in via an Ethernet cable. Got a couple of different options across the top there, but what I normally do with my camera, what's reversal do? Oh, it's thinking about it, absolutely no idea what reversal does. Oh, no, there it goes, it's flipped it around, it's flipped it upside down. Let's undo that, and while it's thinking about that, we'll leave the frame rate on full, which I think is about 30 frames a second. We're going to change the resolution up. You got a couple of choices there, 160 by 120, 320 by 240, and 640 by 480. I have mine nice and large. Mode, I'm not exactly sure what this does. You got 50, 60, and outdoor. My cameras are all mostly facing outdoor, so I'll change it to outdoor. You've also got your brightness and your contrast here that you can adjust as necessary. Once you've got all those, you go up here to a network, and you've got basically all the default settings here. These settings here are obviously the same as what the original software that we were using before was displaying. The reason you have to use that original software before is because when you first get the camera, you don't know what the IP address is going to be, because it's setting a self-assigned IP address of like 192.168.1. something. You need that original software to be able to detect the camera, tell you what the original IP address is going to be, and allow you to change the IP address. Once you've got the new IP address, well, then you can access the camera via a web browser. Can you tell I've had a coffee? Anyway, so you've got all this information here. Now the clincher is, and this is the second time I've done it, so I know it works, is you go over here to wireless settings. Once you go into the wireless settings, you'll be shown just here. I'll turn this off here because that was pulling the settings from before. You get a thing like this. Now you hit the scan button just here, and it will now start scanning for wireless network adapters in the area. The problem I had with my previous camera, or the first camera like this that I ordered, is when I did this I got nothing. The camera wouldn't detect any wireless networks. We've pressed it once and it's come up with a couple of networks in the area, which is great. If you do press it once and get nothing, press it a second time, because I have found that with some of the PhoScam and DB power cameras, you have to hit this scan button twice to get the networks to come up. Now we're going to join this network just here. As you can see with mine, because I already had the settings put in, it already auto-populated, but for the first time you do it, when you click on here, this will all automatically fill in, and you'll just have to put your password in down the bottom here. So just pop your password in there and then hit the submit button. When you hit that submit button, the camera is going to reset. It'll take about 30 seconds, which, well, that'll reboot, and hopefully, bugger it, we'll do it again, why not? this is what you'll get. The device is rebooting, don't shut down its power, wait for 30 seconds. So while it's doing that, I'm actually just pulling out the Ethernet cable, and what we'll do now is wait for the camera to reboot. Okay guys, so the camera has just rebooted. I've probably forgot to mention this originally. I hope you selected the right browser. I mean, yeah, I probably should mention that first. So now I've rebooted the camera as it was just rebooting before. I had the Ethernet cable unplugged. I'm going to hit mode 2 there, and look at that. Beautiful. I've got a camera plugged in now. It's I don't know what the actual frame rate is, but it's nice and high, probably because it's only about a meter away from the web browser. There's a few other options in here. Now, a lot of this stuff I have not played around with at all. You've got alarm, which I think might have to do with that little port that's in the back of the camera, or any other little alarm type things you want to set up. You've got email over here, FTP alarm server. I literally don't know what any of this does and haven't really played around with it. Advanced, obviously that is to set up different users, whether or not you want to have, guest access and what they can actually do with the camera. Multi-dev, what's that do? Absolutely no freaking idea. But there's another one here called other settings. Oh, this is one I also changed, is I turn this LED here off. On the front of the camera, you'll notice there's a little green LED underneath the lens which blinks constantly while the camera is being accessed. I find that a bit annoying, and plus the fact that I just don't think it should be on all the time. So I'll do that. Is it going to reboot the whole camera? Nope, I just press submit, and now that light has turned off. What's this? Pan, tilt, zoom, center on start. No, I don't like it to do that because I like my cameras to be set up pointing in a certain spot, so that if they do reboot, they stay at that same spot. I think if you change this to yes, it will automatically go back to a certain centered spot. So if you haven't got the camera where you have the camera normally pointed, shall we say, if that isn't what the camera thinks is its center spot, it will move to what it thinks its center spot is. So I don't usually have that. Couple other things here, play around with the settings, figure them out. Maintain, this is all firmware, date and time. I usually do set that. Is that the right date? 12, yes it is. Don't ask me why it thinks I'm in Greenwich Mean Time in London, because we're not in London, we are in Melbourne, Australia. Where are you, Melbourne? Come on, where am I? I'm 11. Melbourne, there we go. Beautiful, submit that. All good, no worries at all. Well guys, that is the DB Power camera. I'm just really pleased that it's worked. The frame rate obviously is quite slow. Oh, sorry, it's really fast here. But what actually I might go do is go plug it in and put it a bit further away from the wireless adapter, because at the moment the wireless adapter is literally, you can't quite see it. It's right there. So ignore the Ethernet cables I've got running around my house at the moment because I'm doing some experimenting. But yeah, as you can see, it's only about a meter away from the router. Once you move them away, the frame rate starts to drop, but I'll move it away and we'll see how we go. Alright guys, so what I've done now is I've actually put that camera back down at the other end of the house. There we go. Welcome to my bedroom. Let's move this camera down. As you can see, you can change the come on, faster, faster, faster. Hopefully it'll readjust the lighting. That's probably about there. Yep, little bird feeder out there. Now as you can see here, we've got a really high contrast sort of, it's really over bright. Let's see if we can try and change that down. Now this is probably a good example of like the quality of camera. Obviously this is the inside of the bedroom, and this is obviously very bright outside, so it's having a lot of trouble. I'm just messing around here with the settings while I talk to you guys. Probably not the best thing to be doing in the middle of an unboxing video, but that's fine. Gives you an idea of what the different settings do. See, it's going to be very washed out. I think what I'd need to do is move the camera to a better position where it's actually, because what I really wanted to do was basically just have this bird feeder here, and be able to see some of the birds feeding, and also cover this cover this back door as part of the security. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing. It's probably one of the first ones like this I've done, or a full-on long one like this. I'll put a link to the eBay store that I purchased these cameras from. As I said, I'm here in Melbourne, Australia, so I brought them off eBay from a Australian-based supplier. I think I paid about $62.95 with free shipping, which is pretty good.
I'll put a link down below in the description. I'd appreciate if you enjoyed this video or you got any information out of this that helped you with whatever you were doing. Like the video or give it a thumbs up, and comment down below if you've had any experiences, or if you can offer some further information on what some of these other settings do, or anything in the video that I may have gotten wrong or that I didn't know about. Feel free to comment down below so that other people can learn from your knowledge as well. Anyway guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you all later.